Live from Eldridge Park in Orleans, Massachusetts, it's the 9th game of the Harwich Mariners 2022 season as they take on the Orleans Firebirds for the first time. Tim Foley and Devin Dobick along with you for this evening's action here from beautiful Eldridge Park, as Harwich, coming off of a split yesterday in the doubleheader, which was postponed from Sunday to Monday, an exciting walk-off win in Game 1 thanks to the heroics of Nick Goodwin, who was able to knock a two-run shot over the fence out in left field to give the Mariners the win. Thereafter, in Game 2, it was a struggle offensively for the Mariners. They got one hit in their second game against Hyannis yesterday, Devin.
Yeah, it was really just a matter of not capitalizing on opportunities. Granted, their offense wasn't really there, but they were finding ways to get on base. They found themselves with bases loaded in one of the innings, and they were unable to get more than just the one on a Kyle Teal RBI ground out, and that was about it. Brock Wilkin, of course, had the big two-run bomb. That was the highlight of the evening. But yeah, Mariners looking to bounce back. They had just 5 hits on the day yesterday. They were lucky to escape with at least a split, Tim.
And so as we get set to begin here from Eldridge Park, let's take a moment and introduce you to the Harwich Mariners starting lineup. Batting first at shortstop and leading off right now, Nick Goodwin. He'll hit the first ball he sees down the ground, left side, throw cross diamond, a high throw, but pulled down by Kevin Sim, the first baseman. And on one pitch, there's one away in the top of the first inning. The rest of the lineup looks like this. Batting second, the catcher, Tatum Levins. Batting third, the third baseman, Brock Wilkin. Batting fourth, the designated hitter, Joe Vitrano. Batting fifth, the first baseman, Jake Geloff. Batting sixth, the right fielder, Tommy Seidel. Batting seventh, the second baseman, Kenny Lavari. Batting eighth, the left fielder, Ryan McCarty. And batting ninth, the center fielder out of Cincinnati, Cole Harding. In is Tatum Levins, the lefty out of Pitt, stands in now. On the mound for the Firebirds here tonight, it's going to be number 22, Danye Evans, or 44 rather, as first pitch to him, or first pitch to Levins is taken and it misses down low. The count opens up at 1-0. Evans, so far on the season, for the Firebirds, as this one's going to be waved on and missed. This is his first start here for the Firebirds. And so it'll be interesting to see what exactly he has on offer here tonight. The 1-0 is swung on and missed. It's a 1-1 count. Tatum Levins stands in. Again, the lefty. Nick Goodwin retired on a first pitch ground out. Next pitch is going to miss down low, and count here 2-1.
Yeah, nice to see Tatum back in the lineup. Did not play yesterday. Coach Engler went with Teal in Game 1, and then in Game 2, Matt Cassetti made his debut.
Here's the 2-1 pitch. Broken bat, chopped foul down the first baseline, right past Coach Sullivan. And so Levins, he'll trot back to the dugout very quickly and get a brand new bat. We've seen a lot of wooden bats recently, it feels, and I think part of that is just because a lot of these players are struggling to find the sweet spot early on here. And that's really been evident by the way that Harwich has been hitting the ball to this point in the season. A 184 batting average, Devin, that's good for 9th in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Yeah,
and they were up there above 250 around the 1-2 spot during their 3-1 start to the season, but since then they've really had their struggles. They had, as I mentioned, just 5 hits yesterday. The day before they only had 3 at Bourne, and then before that Bourne was before YD, and then YD they only had 4 or 5 there. So they've just been struggling on all cylinders offensively, although they have worked some at-bats and some counts, which is one positive you can take away on offense, but it's time for that to change. It's been 4 games.
Exactly. It's been just the gritty at-bats that we've been seeing, but not a lot has come of it, as you put it, Devin. And so, again, it's Danye Evans on the mound. His 2-2 pitch comes in. That'll be sliced foul up into the netting over above our heads here along the third base side. His numbers at Vanderbilt this last season looked a bit like this. Had an ERA right about 5.50. Appeared in 14 games. Did not start a single one, neither his sophomore or freshman years. Had 13 innings pitched over at Vanderbilt this last season. Gave up 9 hits, 8 earned runs, 2 home runs. Struck out 13 to his 9 walks. So it'll be interesting to see how he feels in this starter role, as Levins is going to hit this one on the ground left side. That'll be fielded by McCleary. Throw out the first is in time, and there's 2 away now. Let's take a moment and introduce the Orleans defense. The outfield from left to right looks like this. Jacob Stinson in left field, Travis Honeyman in center, and Jake Cunningham is out in right. Infield from left to right. Jacob Wilson's at third. Nick McCleary is over at shortstop. Nate Furman's over at second base. Kevin Sim is over at first, and Bennett Lee is behind home plate. Harwich Mariners wearing their road blue jerseys with the red numerals, white trim. Says Harwich across the front as Evans comes set and delivers the first pitch to Brock Wilkin, who stands in now, the third baseman here today for the Mariners. Orleans wearing their white jerseys that say Firebirds across the front. They have the red sleeves going on, red socks with the white pants. As the 1-0 pitch in for a called strike, and the count now 1-1. And these Orleans jerseys, very nice. They were gifted to the organization last season by Marcus Stroman, an Orleans Firebirds alumni.
Yeah, and they're beautiful. They got the cutoff look where, as you mentioned, the red sleeves peeking through, so kind of like a tank top style jersey. Loved when I got an opportunity to wear one of those, and I'm sure the players do too.
As the next pitch is fouled off, count right now 1-2 to the batter in Brock Wilkin. Wilkin's been having a nice couple of games here for the Mariners. 3-game hitting streak, including a 2-run knock yesterday. He was the one hit in game number 2, but he goes down looking here, so very quickly 3 outs in the inning as we head to the bottom of the first. Orleans up to bat when we return. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back inside Eldridge Park. Tim Foley and Devin Dobick along with you as the Mariners take the field. Let's introduce the Orleans Firebirds starting lineup. It looks like this. Batting leadoff, the center fielder Travis Honeyman. Batting second, the second baseman Nate Furman. Batting third, the third baseman Jacob Wilson. Batting fourth and cleanup, the first baseman Kevin Sim. Batting fifth, the designated hitter Luke Keischel. Batting sixth, the catcher Bennett Lee. Batting seventh, the left fielder Jacob Stinson. Batting eighth, the right fielder Jake Cunningham, and batting ninth, the shortstop Nick McCleary. So that is how the Orleans Firebirds line up. The Harwich Mariners defense looks as such. Ryan McCarty's out in left field. Cole Harding is in center field. Tommy Seidel's out in right. Infield from left to right looks like this. Brock Wilkins at third base. Nick Goodwin's at shortstop. Back again after having game 1 off of shortstop duties yesterday. Kenny Lavari's over at second base. Jake Geloff's on first here today. And it's going to be Tatum Levens back behind home plate. Doing the catching for Billy Seidel, today's starting pitcher for the Mariners. Seidel, out of Duke University, put together a very nice outing his last time out in the home opener for the Mariners against Falmouth. Pitched 6 complete innings. Or rather 3 complete innings, through 50 pitches when he was able to strike out 6 batters. A really nice day his last time out, Devin.
Yeah, he was fantastic, and that was Harwich's best night pitching. They struck out 17 batters, if you recall, in that game. Billy Seidel got it kicked off with 6 of them, and then he handed things over to Liam Sullivan, Jaden Woods, and I believe Zane Probst, and they just slammed the door. What a game that was, but we really haven't seen spectacular pitching since then. There was 10 strikeouts in the 2-1 win against YD, but other than that, those 2 games, not a lot doing from this Mariners staff.
Yeah, the staff has fallen off the track a little bit here as first pitch was a ball. This next pitch going to be popped up out toward right field, pacing over in foul territory. Tommy Seidel trying to help out his brother. That's going to get down foul. Seidel sliding into the hill, actually sliding up the hill a little bit in an attempt to field that one, and the at-bat stays alive here for Travis Honeyman. Honeyman just recently awarded the CCBL Player of the Week for his efforts so far through the first week of play for the Orleans Firebirds. Right now he's been batting .368, five extra base hits, excuse me. That's 3 doubles and 2 home runs. He's also gotten a walk and a stolen base. Honeyman, somebody who you're familiar a bit with, Devin. Really nice start to his season.
Yeah, he played for the Ocean State Waves in the NECBL last year and was awarded the MVP. He actually holds the all-time batting record. I'll pull up that stat in just a moment, but had a phenomenal season. In his freshman year at Boston College, he went just 1 for 14, and then he exploded, hit .330 this past season for them. So ever since his summer in the NECBL, he has not looked back. Gets things right back started here with the wood bat for Orleans, and on an absolute tear now.
Honeyman checks the 1-1 pitch, fouls it off, and so it's now a 1-2 count. And you'll see that guys who start at these other collegiate summer leagues, whether it be the Northwoods Leagues or the NECBL, as you've put it in, they'll make their way here after having outstanding seasons in those other leagues. As Seidel rocks and delivers the 1-2. Honeyman holds up. Did he go? No, he did not. So says the first base umpire. So it remains alive here, the 2-2 count to Honeyman.
Yeah, he actually hit .430. That's good for the NECBL record last season. He was fantastic, a guy who was a very difficult out. Seemed like he was on base every time he stepped up to the plate.
So very impressive to see that he's already translating a great deal of success from the NECBL here to the Cape Cod Baseball League. As the 2-2 pitch is going to miss, and the count here to the very first batter that Billy Seidel's facing has run full. 3-2 to Travis Honeyman. Looking to draw a walk, trying to get on base. Mariners have struggled early in games with not only scoring but retiring batters. In both games yesterday against Hyannis, the Harbor Hawks struck first in the top of the first inning. Here's the pitch from Seidel. This one's going to be rocketed out to right center field. That's going back toward the fence. Gone! A leadoff home run for Travis Honeyman, and the Orleans Firebirds are in business. 1-0 Orleans here in the top of the first inning. Bottom of the first inning, excuse me.
I mean, the guy is an absolute weapon at the plate. You got to be very careful with where you put that one. Billy Seidel, such a great pitcher too, but a great at-bat by Honeyman. He stays alive, goes up 6-7 pitches, and then just finds his and goes opposite field right center. Just about 370 feet that home run was over the bullpen.
So a very hard hit ball. Honeyman, that's his 3rd home run of the season. And what a start it's been for him. As the next batter in, Nate Furman, the second baseman here. So for Honeyman, that now leads the Cape Cod Baseball League with 3 home runs. An impressive start, to say the least. And so, as mentioned, it's now Nate Furman who stands in. Furman, the second baseman here for Orleans. Seidel rocks and delivers. He'll hit this one on the ground left side. That'll be picked up by Goodwin. Throw cross diamond into the glove of Geloff. Not in time. Safe on first is going to be Nate Furman. And so, Orleans back-to-back hits to open up the ball game here on Billy Seidel.
Yeah, that ball just not hit hard enough for Goodwin to do anything with it. Just kind of flubbed it the opposite way, and when you're in the first base side of the batter's box, you got a couple extra steps to head start. Furman takes advantage of that and wins the race by a step or two.
And so in comes Jacob Wilson, the 3rd baseman for Orleans. That leadoff home run, similar to how game 1 started yesterday, as this ball's going to be popped up in the infield on the first pitch from Wilson. Underneath it, Tatum Levens gets run into by Brock Wilkin. The 2 returners here for the Mariners in this infield. They collide. The catch is made by Levens nonetheless, and that's the first out of the inning.
Bit of a communication error there. Levens and Wilkin almost crashed into each other. Seidel seemed like he wanted it all the way off the mound, but Levens steps in, takes command, and luckily able to haul it in with no harm done. But definitely a funky sequence there.
And so Kevin Sims stands in now. Sim, the first baseman here for Orleans. First pitch to him is going to miss outside, gets away from Levens. Furman's going to head down to second base. Throw is not even going to be attempted by Levens. And so that's going to be a free 90 for Nate Furman.
And Sim, another guy that's really difficult to get out. His on-base percentage leads the league at .500. He's been sensational, and he also leads the league in walks with 9, along with Chris Brito of Bourne.
So he's been able to get on base. As first pitch is going to, or second pitch rather, going to miss for a ball, and the count now here is 2-0. Umpires for you here tonight. Home plate umpire Edward McAvin, Mike Hinojosa's over at first, and Mark Delaney is over at third base. Billy Seidel delivers the next pitch. That's in for a called strike. And the count now here is 2-1. Sim trying to help move Furman around. A leadoff home run from Travis Honeyman has the Orleans Firebirds up 1-0. As the throw down to third is not going to be in time. A stolen base from Nate Furman, and Orleans is applying a lot of pressure early on here.
And yeah, he just got a great jump. He took off before Seidel was even into the delivery, but no communication from the Mariner infield. I mean, that's something that they're really going to have to work on. We've seen a few collisions. We almost saw one in the first inning. We saw one between Teal and Groover at YD, and now right there, stolen base. No one says anything.
Ball's going to be tipped back. Count here now full, 3-2 to the batter in Kevin Sim.
If Billy can find a way to get a strikeout here, that would be huge. I mean, Sim's such a great contact hitter, also patient. You don't want him to put this one in play and get that run home.
Here's the full count pitch. That's going to be hit over to Wilkin. Looks over at third to hold the runner, and Furman delivers on to first, and there's now 2 away here in the bottom of the first inning.
Great play by Brock there as he looks the runner back. He's not going anywhere despite being just 90 feet away. Whips it across the diamond. No trouble there. That's exactly how Harwich drew it up. 2 outs. A lot of pressure off Seidel now, too, because now he just got to get Keishel to get out. Doesn't have to worry about the runner scoring on any sacrifice plays or anything.
And so now in steps Luke Keishel. Keishel out of University of San Francisco, a returner for these Orleans Firebirds. First pitch is in for a called strike, and the count opens up at 0-1. Last season with Orleans, batted .321, 4 doubles, triple, 2 home runs, 5 RBI as well. He was a good contributor to that Orleans offense last season. So he's back again this year with the Firebirds. This next pitch is going to be hammered out to right center field. Getting underneath it, Cole Harding. He makes the catch and the inning ends. Nate Furman is stranded over on third base, but Travis Honeyman, his Cape Cod Baseball League leading 3rd home run of the season, is pounded over the fence in right center field, and that's the difference right now. It's 1-0 Orleans as we head to the top of the 2nd inning. We'll be back with more Harwich Mariners baseball in just a minute. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back to Eldridge Park. Tim Foley and Devin Dobick along with you. Joe Vitrano leads it off in the top of the second inning. Vitrano, the designated hitter out of Boston College. He stands in now. He's been trying to establish more of a rhythm, as have all of these Mariners. Went 0 for 3 in Game 2 and Game 1. A collective 0 for 6 yesterday against Hyannis. On the season so far, Vitrano, as he takes a first pitch called strike. And as Evans delivers the next pitch, he swings and misses, and it's now 0-2 here to Vitrano. On the season, batting .167, on base percentage at about .231. He had a good first few games, but one of the guys who's cooled off here for Harwich. A big swing and a miss way out in front of that one, as Danye Evans able to get him to swing. Down he goes on 3 pitches. Second strikeout of the day for Evans.
Yeah, Vitrano just can't buy any way on. I mean, in one of the games yesterday, he had 3 lineouts. Lined out to third, lined out to center, lined out to right. Mixed in a couple strikeouts as well yesterday. He was leading the league in batting through about 2 games, but since then he just really, I believe he has 1 hit, maybe 2 since then, and his woes are just building up. Feel bad for the guy.
As Jake Geloff, another guy who's had his own woes, steps in now. Geloff so far to this point in the season batting .091. As he'll chop this one foul. The count now is 0-2 here to Geloff. Geloff on the season. He's got 5 strikeouts across his 4 games played. Had a good deal of them yesterday. Struck out to 3 separate pitchers in Game 1. As Evans rocks and delivers. That one skips outside of the glove of the catcher in Bennett Lee, and the count now 1-2.
Geloff got to be patient here. He had a 3 strikeout game yesterday. He's looking to avoid that same fate. Gets the faith of Coach Engler back in the lineup. He's at first base today, though, interestingly enough.
Ball's going to miss down low, and the count now here 2-2. I mean, he's really just a baseball guy. We've seen him all over the diamond at this point.
Him and Groover as well.
Yep. He was over at third base yesterday. We've also seen him in the outfield, and now over at first. Got him looking. Down goes Geloff. 3 straight strikeouts for Danye Evans, as now Tommy Seidel is going to look to be the first Mariner on base. First 5 up have each been sent back to the dugout.
Yeah, gotta hand it to Evans here. In his debut, he's really settling in nicely. Wasn't anything off the charts at Vanderbilt. I mean, in 2 seasons, he had an ERA of 5.54 and 4.76. But he's blown away this Mariners lineup. Granted, they are struggling.
First pitch into Tommy Seidel is in for a strike. And so the count opens at 0-1. Seidel on the season, his numbers, batting .150. As the very next pitch also went for a called strike. He's stared at 2 strikes now, and he's deep in the hole. 3 for 20 on the season. 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. Leads the team in stolen bases, but he's got to get on to do that. Here's the pitch. That's going to miss outside, and the count now 1-2. Beautiful evening this is turning into here in Orleans. The hill is lined, as you would expect, as time's called here by Bennett Lee. Fans always tend to show up here at Eldridge Park about 8 a.m., perhaps sooner, to claim their stake, put down their lawn chairs and towels, and find their seat. Seidel chops this one on the ground. That's going to trickle foul, a high chopper that goes closer toward the Mariners' dugout. And so the count remains at 1-2.
And I do have to say, Tim, it is really cool what we're seeing on the hill there. I wish that the people at home could see it. I mean, even when we came 2 hours early, the place was littered in blankets and chairs, and just absolutely a perfect scene. Summer baseball at its finest. Some diehard Firebirds fans.
As the 1-2 pitch, this one's going to be hit on a line over Evans. That's going to get back up the middle. Out into the outfield, picked up by Honeyman, but it's a 2-out single for the batter in Tommy Seidel, who's able to find his way on base. This will bring up Kenny Lavari, the second baseman here today.
And a much needed one for Seidel. He's also been in a slump as of late, but great piece of 2-strike hitting. Muscles it into center field, and now Mariners hopefully trying to move him over. They had a good 2-out rally in Game 1 yesterday. Here's another chance to get something going in the second.
It It was with 2 outs yesterday that Cole Harding hit the single to drive Ryan McCarty around in game 1, and then Nick Goodwin again with 2 outs was able to hit that home run. Tommy Seidel heading down to second as as the ball escaped from Bennett Lee. Throw down to the bag was close, but not in time, and Tommy Seidel is able to advance. I believe that's going to be on a wild pitch, so it's not exactly a stolen base as it got away from Lee. That's the only reason he would have taken the base. We'll see. We've seen a couple of calls go either way like that. I see you've got your eye on the live stats, so we'll see what they ultimately decide to rule it. Right now, it's a 1-0 count to the batter in Lavari, and he will hammer this one out to right center field. That's going to go back. That's going to drop. Cut off by Honeyman. Seidel's going to come around to score. The Mariners have tied the game thanks to an RBI double for Kenny Lavari, who's able to drive in a run. And it's now 1-1 here from Eldridge Park in the top of the second inning.
Yeah, and that is exactly what Harwich needed, some early offense, something they have not had in several games. And a great piece of hitting by Lavari, finds the gap in right center, places it perfectly. No chance for Honeyman or Cunningham. And Mariners on the board. And Tommy Seidel was awarded the stolen base, his third, team high third this season.
As Ryan McCarty takes a first pitch strike, he's behind in the count at 0-1 now, and those 3 stolen bases, mind you, on the season, not up to the league high just yet. Baldwin over in Katuitt has the league high of 6, but still impressive for Seidel. He's doing a lot to help generate offense in that regard when he is able to get on, as mentioned. And so now for Seidel, as the count here to McCarty is at 1-1. For Seidel, that's now 7 straight games in which he's managed to get on base as he was put on. And for Kenny Lavari as well, that's now 6 straight. As Ryan McCarty's going to hit this one over to third. Throw on to first is going to be in time. It pulls Kevin Sim off the bag, but he's able to get the foot back in time. And that is going to end the inning. So the Harwich Mariners scratch one across. Kenny Lavari, an RBI double to tie this thing up at 1 apiece. We'll be back with the bottom of the second in just a moment. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back inside Eldridge Park. Tim Foley and Devin Dobick along with you. It is going to be Luke Keischel to lead off, Bennett Lee, the catcher, who leads off this bottom of the second inning. A called strike to open it up, and the count is 0-1 here. We'll see Bennett Lee, Jacob Stinson, and Jake Cunningham in this inning of play for Orleans as this ball's chopped on the ground. Wilkin barehands it, throw on to first. Did he get him? Not in time. Safe on first as Bennett Lee legs it out after Brock Wilkin had to come charging in to make a play on it. And so the leadoff man once again is on for Orleans.
Yeah, and Brock was lucky to have even been that close. It was a fantastic play. Slow roller, he barehands it, and an accurate throw. It was very impressive, just a little late. And no discredit to him. He made every effort he could to get that out.
So in steps Jacob Stinson, the left fielder for Orleans. And that first inning home run, as this one's going to be shot right over at second. Throw back to first is not in time. Sliding back in safely is Bennett Lee, but that was a laser off the bat of Jacob Stinson, hit right at Kenny Lavari. He was able to make the catch, and then excellent heads-up awareness to throw on to first to try to retire Lee. Ultimately unable to get him, but keeps him pinned to the bag, one away.
And yeah, a little Joe Vitrano treatment. He really caught this pitch. I mean, Stinson hit the brakes off that ball just right at the second baseman, and Lavari, good heads-up play, and a big out number one for Harwich.
As that pitch is going to miss low and outside to Jake Cunningham, who steps in now for Orleans. But yes, the run for Orleans that put him up for Harwich, that's now the 8th game this season in which they have conceded the game's first run. Only once the Mariners scored first, and that was at Chatham, the second game of the season, in which the Mariners found themselves up early. Ultimately ended up losing that game. Mariners right now 4-3 when their opponent scores first this season. So they've been able to pull off come from behind victories, and you have a tie game right now, but they just, for one reason or another, cannot seem to break through first, as the 2-0 pitch catches the outside part of the plate, and it's now 2-1.
Yeah, it has been a weird season for Harwich. A lot of ups, a lot of downs. Started 3-1, since then 1-3. And they started off as the hottest team in the CCBL. Now they're arguably the coldest, with the exception of Falmouth.
Yeah, Falmouth, a team that Orleans managed to sweep in their doubleheader on Sunday. Their doubleheader was not postponed, much like the Mariners doubleheader was postponed to Monday. Here's the 2-1 pitch from Seidel. That'll be chopped back into the mid of 11s, and the count now 2-2. That was a doubleheader for Orleans in which they felt like they could have played better games, but they still managed to come out on top of both of them.
Yeah, it was just 6 runs for them across the 2 games and 9 hits, but they were still able to get the sweep. They played great team baseball.
This ball's going to be hit hard over past the first baseman, Geloff. Diving, he can't stop it. Heading now for third is going to be Lee. Holding up at first is going to be Cunningham. Throw down to the bag, gets away from Wilkin. Play at the plate's not going to be there. And coming home to score is going to be Bennett Lee, all the way from first on a poor throw over to third base to try to gun him down from right field. And so Orleans now right back out in front after Harwich was able to tie it in the top of the second inning.
Yeah, just an unfortunate sequence. Baseball 101 though. Harwich has got to be better than this. The throw comes in from Seidel. Lavari gives every effort. He goes all the way down to one knee to try and stop this ball. Gets by him. Goodwin not there for the double backup, and that's just going to be a couple free bases for Orleans. Thank you very much. And they'll have that lead right back here in the second.
Now it's the shortstop, Nick McCleary, who steps in for Orleans. The 9-hole hitter, McCleary. As Seidel stares in and delivers the first pitch. That's going to miss for a ball. The play officially just then, it was a single for Cunningham. And then Lee was able to advance to second, but again, it was the throw. Looks like they're still officially scoring it, but I believe it would have been the throw. It's going to be an error on the right fielder in Seidel that allows the run to come home. So E9 to bring in Lee and to bring Cunningham over to second base, as count now is 2-0 here to Nick McCleary.
And I think the thing you got to be most frustrated about if you're the Harwich Mariners and Tommy Seidel is you had no chance to get the runner at third. I mean, Lee was hauling around second. He was going to be there with ease, so the throw in just needed to be accurate to hold the runners at the corners, but they failed that, and now it's a 2-1 ball game.
Pitch is going to miss up high, and now the count is 3-0 here to Nick McCleary. Billy Seidel at risk of walking his first batter of the evening. He's already given up 4 hits. Not the same start we saw him have last time out in the home opener for the Mariners. Here's the 3-0 pitch. That's in for a called strike, does not miss, and the count now 3-1.
And Billy a fighter. I mean, this has got to be really frustrating for him out there. He is a competitive guy, does not like to give anything free or unforced, but nonetheless, other than the home run, he's just, or with the home run included, he's just fallen into a trap of just a lot of bad baseball.
Here's the 3-1 pitch, and that's going to miss. Ball 4. So that'll put McCleary over on first base. Still at second is Jake Cunningham. And we're back to the top of the order here for Orleans. It's going to be Travis Honeyman who steps up to bat.
I think the last person you want to see if you're Harwich in this situation, just one out and the defending CCBL player of the week stepping in. He's hitting just a few points under 400 now at this point. And a tough out. He's already homered here tonight, swings a hot stick. You got to find a way to get him to put the ball on the ground to one of your infield guys.
So Seidel comes set on the bump, stares in, looks back over at Cunningham on second and delivers. That's going to be a first pitch strike. Taking a look at the East Division standings coming into today's action. A very tight East Division as it stands right now. 3 teams tied atop the East with 8 points. Brewster, YD, and Harwich. And then Chatham and Orleans right at their heels with 7. This ball's going to be hit on the ground right side. That gets past the glove of Lavari. Holding up at third base is going to be Jake Cunningham. McCleary's now at second, and it's a 1-out single for Travis Honeyman, who's now 2 for 2 in as many innings.
Well, you get what you wish for. He puts the ball on the ground, but Lavari's got to find a way to knock that down or make that play. Luckily, no runs come in to score, but they're all loaded up now for a very capable hitter in Nate Furman. He's already singled tonight.
And so now on the night, they get 5 hits for Orleans. As Harwich pitching continues to struggle here. Billy Seidel, and you talked about it, a competitor here. Not going to let down, but it is not looking like his night right now. So with the bases loaded, it's going to be Furman, as we've mentioned. Furman, you said it already as well, the single here. As Seidel stares in and delivers. This one hit on the ground right side. Geloff able to tag first for the force out, and he will hold on at that. So there's now 2 away in the inning.
I'm not sure I agree with the decision by Geloff there. Obviously not your traditional first baseman over there, but definitely had a chance to get at least the lead runner at home if he wasn't going to try and spin it. Decides to go to first, take the easy out, and I guess Harwich will take it. They do surrender the 1 run, but would have thought Geloff would have tried to at least go home there or get the runner at second. He had plenty of time.
So that's Jake Cunningham, who comes home to score for Orleans. Nick McCleary's now standing over on third base, while Travis Honeyman is advanced up to second. Jacob Wilson, who popped out to Tatum Levins in foul territory along the third base line, stands in now. As Seidel stares in. Here's the pitch to Wilson. Popped up in foul territory over his Geloff. It's playable. He'll make the catch, and the inning will end. Another 2 runs come across for Orleans. What was once a tie game at 1-1 is now 3-1 in favor of the Firebirds. We'll be back with more Harwich Mariners baseball in just a moment. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Cole Harding leads us off in the top of the third inning. Heading up duties out in center field here tonight, as he has been for a majority of the season. He's the one man yet to have a plate appearance here tonight. As the count to him here is 1-1. Back on the mound, it's his now third inning of work. Donye Evans, who's looked good here for Orleans so far through 2 complete. As the 1-1 pitch chopped on the ground left side, that'll be cut off by Wilson. Throw on to first in time, 1 away.
Yeah, beautiful play there. Wilson wasted no time fielding and firing that ball. Beat Harding by a good 3 steps on a play that he made look really routine when it was not. Top of the order for Harwich is going to have to check in here.
And so now it's the second time through here for the Mariners as Nick Goodwin comes back up to bat. Had a good game yesterday, and Nick Goodwin, he has continued to be excellent for Harwich. He's gotten on base in every single game this season for Harwich. Not once has he been kept off. 8-game on base streak. Tommy Seidel's extended his to 7. Kenny Lavari his to 6, as this one's going to be hit on the ground left side. Wilson again, throw across the diamond once again, and the past 3 outs have been made on ground outs over to third base, and Jacob Wilson 4 on the evening, as Wilson's been busy over at third, but he's looked really good, Nevin.
Yeah, he really has not made any sort of blunder over there, and that's exactly what you need at the hot corner. He's the reason Harwich has not had a few more base runners here tonight. Coach Englert's going to talk something over with Levens. Another unique thing. This is now the second time we've seen him do it.
I was going to say, a conversation here between the head coach and the batter. You really don't see it that often, but I think that's just how dire things are looking right now for the Mariners, that they feel a need to talk to their hitters in between batters because perhaps the coaching staff seeing something and they're trying to pick up on it and relay it to the players that they are just not quite picking up on it. It's just been so difficult here for Harwich hitting that the coaching staff trying to do anything they can at this point to get it going one way or another. So quickly, 2 outs here in the top of the third inning. That's what happened last inning out for the Mariners. First 2 batters went down on strikeouts. Vetrano swinging, Geloff looking. But then it was a single from Tommy Seidel, who was then driven home on a double by Kenny Lavari, as Levens skies this one up down the right field side. That's going to be foul, well out of play. No chance at a play from Cunningham. And so the count here is 1-1.
Yeah, he just missed that one just a little early. Hit a shot, though. It went all the way past the fence. Probably would have jumped off the wall if it had stayed fair. Just got to straighten that out. Wonder if that's something Coach Englert said to him.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's going to miss inside, and the count now here 2-1 to Tatum Levens. And again, Levens, a guy who's been sort of in and out of the lineup as the Mariners have had a few options behind home plate as the 2-1's chopped off. It's now a 2-2 count. Levens on the season so far, batting .167, on base percentage of .313. Just 2 for 12 at the plate. Does have 1 RBI and 1 walk. But other than that, nothing much going. Here's the pitch. This one off the end of the bat out toward right field. That's going back. Chasing back to the fence, at the fence. And that is caught. Jake Cunningham robs a home run from Tatum Levens. And Harwich just really cannot catch a break. We head to the bottom of the third inning. Still a 3-1 lead for the Orleans Firebirds as the Mariners' hitting woes continue. We'll be back in a moment. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back to Eldridge Park. Tim Foley, Devin Dobick with you. It has been brutal at the plate for Harwich. They had 2 hits in the second to drive in a run, but Tatum Levens was just robbed out in right field by Jake Cunningham. What would have been a home run off the end of the bat, interestingly enough. Didn't look like it was the hardest hit ball, but it just kept carrying.
Yeah, that one looked like it was going to be a routine flyout, and then we just saw Cunningham just keep retreating enough to make what proved to be a really great catch.
It's a 1-1 count here to Kevin Sim, who stands in, grounded out to third base in his last at-bat. Sim, somebody who really knows how to get on. But he is behind in the count here, 1-2. A called strike from Seidel as he's back out for his 3rd inning of work. Trying to have a lockdown inning here. He's allowed a run in each of his first 2. Here's the pitch, hit on the ground, left side foul. Brock Wilkin will retrieve it, but stepping back in is going to be Sim.
Yeah, and Orleans, despite their record, they have some of the best hitters in the CCBL in their top 4. I mean, Nate Furman, a guy who played a huge part in their wins in the doubleheader against Falmouth, and then you got Travis Honeyman, who's great. Sim finds ways to get on base all the time, and then Jacob Wilson's a guy who can launch a ball at any time. So, you know, a good top of the lineup that really can cash in, although their record doesn't necessarily reflect it as it should.
Yeah, and it's still so early. We put so much meaning into a lot of these numbers and records as he's going to get him looking. The 1-2 pitch finds the inside part of the plate. Down goes Sim. And that's the first strikeout of the day for Billy Seidel. But yes, we put a lot of value early on into these records, and you know, you can only evaluate so much about a team at any given point in the season just because the team changes forms so many times throughout the course of the season. As we've harped on, players head off to Team USA, they get drafted. So we'll see what exactly holds to be true, as this one's going to be hit hard on the ground. Over to Geloff at first, scoops it up and steps onto first base and retires Luke Keishel on 1 pitch. So already a better inning here defensively for Harwich and for Billy Seidel. A kind of bounce back inning that, while not over yet, is off to the kind of start that he needed to have.
Yeah, he's got to just find a way to go 1, 2, 3 here. Find his routine once again. I'm not sure how long we're going to see Coach Engler go with him for. We've only seen him go 3 innings in the past. But if he can settle in, Harwich just needs a consistent arm, and Billy might be able to provide that.
Ball will be chopped off, foul. Count now is going to open here to Bennett Lee at 0-1. Lee so far had that single to open up the 2nd inning, ended up coming all the way around to score. The very next pitch is going to miss low and away, and the count now is 1-1. Seidel rocks and delivers, swing and a miss, a 1-2 count. And that last pitch, that looked good there, Devin.
Yeah, Billy, he's got some serious velocity, a guy who can really pump the gun, and his slow windup really throws hitters' timing off because it just all goes from 0 to 100 really quick once he takes it out of his glove.
Seidel stares in and delivers. Swing and a miss, strike 3. He got him. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Billy Seidel. A 1-2-3 inning, and he needed that. So down go the Firebirds in order. We head now to the top of the 4th inning. Mariners back up to bat when we return. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. back inside Eldridge Park. It's a 3-1 lead for the Orleans Firebirds at the moment. For play-by-play duties for the next 3 innings, my broadcast partner, Devin Dobick. Devin.
Thank you, Tim. Back here, inning number 4. And we got a call to the bullpen. It's going to be Tommy Hopefee. He climbs in. He's got 6 strikeouts on the year, allowed just 1 walk, and he's pitched a whopping 4.2 innings and allowed 5 hits.
Yeah, Hopfe out of Fresno State, 31 starts at DH.
And now Brock Wilken will climb in, still searching for his first day, and he's been one of the couple positives in this Harwich lineup. We touched on it a little bit earlier, but he had a home run in the last game. He had a knock in the game 1, and then he had a 2-hit game against YD. So a guy who's really started to settle in here after starting off cold, but actually drew a lot of walks, was hit by a couple pitches in the game before against Bourne, and now really starting to find himself in the heart of the lineup. The pitch, Hopfe misses, and the count is 1-2.
Yeah, Wilken, a guy who's really good for that. He was excellent at being able to draw walks last season. Very patient, and of course, a guy whose reputation preceded him at times. And so he would be pitched around at times, as it's a 2-2 count now. The 1-2 misses inside. So even if he's not hitting, he's going to find ways to get on base and help out this offense. But right now, the bat's working.
2-2. Caught on and missed. He was way late on that one. Hopfe fooled him. And that'll be his first strikeout and as many batters to start things here in the 4th.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what you want to do when you come out as a relief pitcher. Set the tone, send a message. You're able to send Brock Wilken back to the dugout. And of course, one of the things that you see a lot at this level, guys who will pass along information to one another in between at-bats. So you have to think for the Mariners that the communication may help them out. It's been a struggle still to this point, but one of the few tools that hitters have at their disposal is the collective knowledge they gain as a lineup.
Now Vetrano, a guy who could use a hit more than ever. He has not had a hit in a week. June 14th, his last hit against Falmouth, a game in which he was 1 for 4. Since then, he's gone 0 for 4, 0 for 3, 0 for 3, and 0 for 3. Chops this one over to second. It's fielded by Furman, and he gets him at first. A 4-3 put out, and there's quickly 2 away for the new wing in Hopfe.
That's the last 6 who have now been retired here for the Mariners.
And it has been really smooth sailing for Orleans, with the exception of the 2-out rally put together by Seidel and Lavari. No one else has reached first base. This one is popped over foul to the right, and it's going to escape into the crowd. A lot of scurrying over there on the hill as that ball was coming in, and it's 0-1. Geloff struck out looking back in the 2nd. Another guy who would really love to get going. And he grounds this one over to Wilson at third base. He collects and fires on the first. 1-2-3 go the Mariners. Orleans Hopfe with a quick inning. We head to the home half of the 4th. Orleans trying to tack on some insurance. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back. Devin Dobek, Tim Foley bring you the action here. Stinson will climb in. He lined out a laser to Kenny Lavari back in the second. He's going to get things started here as he watches ball one go just a bit up and out. 1-0. Billy Seidel back out there for his fourth inning of work. Had a 1-2-3 third inning. He'd like to build off of that. The pitch to Stinson. Catches the outside part of the plate for a strike, and the count is evened up at 1.
Yeah, Coach Englert with a lot of faith in his guy right now to be able to go back out there, pound the strike zone, and try to continue this outing here in what would be the longest of the season for him if he's able to get another out.
That one just misses, and now Stinson up in the count. 2-0.
I believe we saw this happen last time, too, where he came out for his fourth inning of work, but then had some work done on him and was then taken out of the game.
This one grounded over to Goodwin at short. He has plenty of time to make the play over a nice, clean 6-3 putout, and there's one away.
That's not the case. His last outing, he went 3 full and then was taken out in between innings for Liam Sullivan, but still good to see Seidel out there. Longest outing of the season now, career longest here in the CCBL, 5 1/3. He had that last season against Chatham back on July 10th. That was a 7-5 win for the Mariners, 5 1/3.
Over to Lavari on a hop, and he will retire Jake Cunningham. Just like that, there's 2 outs. Billy Seidel has set down 7 in a row now. Starting to really find his groove, Tim.
Yeah, doing a nice job, getting into a rhythm and starting to pitch to contact a bit more, getting guys to get themselves out. Seidel allowing his defense to do some work for him here. I believe it's actually last.
As this one chopped over to Wilkin, he gets it on the short hop, collects and fires a bullet over to Geloff at first. Billy Seidel sets down 8 in a row, a 1-2-3-4, a quick inning at that, and he gets it right back to his offense. They are set to come up here in the top of the 5th. It'll be Tommy Seidel, Kenny Lavari, and Ryan McCarty. Don't go anywhere. It's time for a rally. And we'll be right back here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back here, 5th inning of action. Hopfee back out there for the Firebirds, and Tommy Seidel set to get things started. He got the 2-out rally going, one of 2 Mariners with a hit. He also stole a base and scored back in the second. We stand at 3-1 Firebirds as the count is 1-0 to the Alabama Crimson Tide product. Trying to help his brother. He already has a little bit, but it's going to need a lot more than that, especially the way that Mariners offense has come as of late. 2-0 is the count. Hopfee's 2-0 delivery is up at the shoulders. 3 balls and no strikes.
I mean, this has been the story the past few games now, where the Mariners will let up a few runs early. They'll then have lockdown pitching, but then they'll struggle at the plate still and won't be able to make up what's been a slim margin. Almost lost 1-0 to Hyannis, as it's a 3-1 count now to Seidel. And then did lose 4-3 yesterday in Game 2.
That one right in there, and the count has worked full. Hopfee battling back. Got the Mariners go 1-2-3 with a strikeout of Brock Wilkin to start all that, followed by 2 groundouts. And payoff. This one is lifted high and deep out to right center field. That one will get down and all the way to the wall. Seidel rounding first, going into second, and he will hold up there. A leadoff double for Tommy Seidel, his second hit of the ball game, and the Mariners are in business here with nobody down.
Yes, Seidel's been doing great work here today at the plate, having this double just here, a single in his last at-bat. And you have to like how this back half of the lineup is giving you some life, namely Seidel. Kennedy Lavari, of course, had a double to drive him in last time around, and now he's finding himself in a similar spot here. Seidel on second, and a chance to help do some more damage here for the Mariners.
And the ability to watch 5 straight pitches and then put a beautiful swing like that on a baseball is really underappreciated. Seidel does a great job there of being patient, finally gets his pitch. It's the first mistake we've seen from Hopfee in his brief time on the mound today, but Seidel all over that one, crushes it. The second double we've seen in the gap from a Mariners hitter.
And that's his second multi-hit game of the season as well.
That one in there for a strike to the hitter in Kenny Lavari, who has the other double.
Yes. Tied with Nick Goodwin as well for multi-hit performances this season. Goodwin with 2, now Seidel with 2.
Maybe this is the start of something for Harwich, as this pitch way up at the chin, and it will be a ball and a strike now.
And it really doesn't take much to just flip a team on its head. You know, it can be something so small as a single inning rally, and all of a sudden everybody gets going. And so it didn't happen last inning around for the Mariners. It's been a bit of a dry spell, but perhaps now.
Lavari fouls this one over the road to the left, and Lavari can't say too many good things about him. I mean, a guy who shows up every day not knowing if he's going to be in the lineup and then puts on a performance if he is. We've seen him work at third base. He's now at second base, and he's got a home run for the Mariners. He's got an extra base hit here tonight. He just shows up, and wherever he's in the lineup, he finds a way to contribute. This pitch is downstairs, and the count now is going to be evened up at 2.
He's been making the most of it, as you said. I mean, he's gotten on base in each of his last now 6 games. Really impressive for a guy who hasn't been in the lineup every single day.
And we'll have time granted here. Hopfee wants to think about this next pitch. If he can find a way to punch out Lavari, that would be crucial. Runner on second, nobody out. More often he scores. And Lavari lines this one over the shortstop. McCleary makes the play. A tough break for the Mariners. But now each team has traded a line out to a middle infielder, and there's one away.
Yeah, just perfect positioning there for McCleary. That was a pretty well hit ball by Lavari, a hard hit ball that came right his way. So to be able to reel that one in and record this first out of the inning makes it all that much tougher for Harwich to try and drive that run in.
In comes Ryan McCarty. He grounded out to third, and he lifts this one high and deep out to right field. Going back is Cunningham at the warning track at the wall. He looks up. It's gone! Home run, Ryan McCarty, the Penn State Abington product. Division III Player of the Year cashes in. This game is tied at 3.
Harwich is, despite their hitting woes, they've had a knack for the long ball. That's now their 3rd straight game with a home run. And Ryan McCarty, we saw him hit a home run in the preseason scrimmage against YD in his very first at-bat. And now he comes in here in a huge spot after yesterday in Game 1, coming in clutch, getting on base to be driven in by Cole Harding. A very nice couple of games here from Ryan McCarty, again, you mentioned it, the D3 product who is starting to show up here for the Mariners.
What a lift. The Mariners needed that one, and that ball was hit high. I mean, it got out by a lot, too. Cunningham
Opposite
had
field.
no look. Yeah, it was just put up there. Only 314 to right field, but he got all of this despite the huge launch angle. Batter now is Cole Harding. He's up in the count 2-0. And Hopfe fires this one in for strike one.
So again, it's this back half of the lineup that has started to produce here for Harwich. In the second inning, it was Seidel with the single. The stolen base was then driven around by Lavari, and then now Seidel once again getting on as Harding swings and misses. It's a 2-2 count. And then McCarty's able to help drive him around, his first home run of the season.
Yeah, and that's got to feel good for him. Get the monkey off his bat. Had a home run in the scrimmage, but that was it. As Harding lifts this one deep out to left field. Coming in is Honeyman. He makes a diving catch in center field. Travis Honeyman on both sides of the ball, pulling his weight. Hauls that one in to take extra bases away from Cole Harding. And there's finally one down. Or excuse me, two down.
Honeyman, a guy who's been working to try and record outs like that. He's had a lot of really great hustle in the outfield this season for Orleans, but a couple of times he's come up short on making that kind of highlight reel catch. Well, there it is for him. He's able to chase that ball down out in left center field, and that is a huge catch to be able to make to cut down some of this momentum here for Harwich.
Nick Goodwin now the batter. He has grounded out to Wilson at third twice today, and he chops this one over to second, fielded by Furman, and he fires on to first. But not before the Mariners add two to tie this ball game up. Ryan McCarty, his first long ball of the season, drives in Tommy Seidel, and we're all knotted up. We head to the home half of the fifth, as we'll see if Seidel returns to the mound when we come back. Don't go anywhere in the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Bottom of the fifth inning here, top of the order for the Firebirds. Travis Honeyman, Nate Furman, and Jacob Wilson due up for the ball club. Billy Seidel has set down 8 straight batters, really found himself in a consistent workload. Honeyman, a guy who can very well break that up with one swing of the bat. He's already solo homered here and singled. And he chops this one off himself. Yeah, he's hobbling a little bit. That one right in the tender spot on the left leg. He's going to need a minute, but seems to be okay.
Yeah, he's laboring here, but you were mentioning it in between innings, Devin. This is a real test right now for Seidel. He's been cruising. Last 8 have all been sat down by him. He's continuing his longest outing of the season so far, and he's going to try to face off against this top of the lineup for the 3rd time. Honeyman, a guy who's already 2 for 2. He's been very impactful in this game, offensively and defensively. Can Seidel handle this top of the order for the third time?
That pitch upstairs, and it's 1-1. As you talked about in the break, Seidel has gone 5 1/3 innings before. That was last season for Harwich, his longest outing, and now into the 5th here. Not sure if we'll see him come out next inning, assuming he runs through these Firebirds, but this pitch misses low, and it's 2-1.
Well, if Seidel can go 5 innings, that'd be really helpful because Harwich has had a lot of success when their starters go 5+ innings. 2 wins on the season. As that pitch is in for a called strike. It's a 2-2 count now. Carlson Reed was able to pick up the win in his outing after going 5 innings, and then Jonathan Santucci, after he went 5 innings, he did not pick up the win, but it was that walk-off win yesterday in which Harwich was eventually able to come out victorious.
And the 2-2, that one must have just missed. It looked pretty good from over here, but count has worked full. Billy Seidel trying to paint a little bit here, because if he leaves anything really in a good portion of the strike zone rather, Honeyman's going to find a way to jump on it. So huge pitch coming up. 3-2. Got him. Right on the back, rather. Hit by the pitch. Honeyman takes a free trot down to first base. Breaks up an 8-man retired streak. The actually last person to reach base was Travis Honeyman back in the 2nd, and he's now on to start things here in the 5th.
And not what you want to do after a long at-bat like that. You put in a lot of work to try to get that out, and then you ultimately just hit the batter. And so frustrating it has to be for Seidel, but the double play ball is an option here if you're able to force Furman to hit a ground ball, which so far Seidel has done a nice job of forcing some ground contact here throughout this one.
Furman grounded out to Jake Geloff at first back in the 2nd. There goes Honeyman. The throw down from Levins on a bounce is in there. Tatum Levins guns down the runner, and Honeyman, a huge out for Harwich here, cleans off the bases, and there's 1 away now.
And you have to love that. Honeyman cut down as he tries to go to 2nd. Tatum Levins picking up his pitcher after he works hard on that last at-bat, ends up hitting him with the pitch. Levins cuts him down as he tries to take an extra base. Seidel has to be extremely grateful for Levins' effort on that throw down.
Count is 2-0 now. Furman's 3rd at-bat of the ball game. He's also singled and swiped third base back in the 1st. He was stranded there. He's up in the count 3-0. Seidel looking to find the zone here. And he does. It's 3-1. Furman thought he had ball 4, but he'll have to retreat back to the box and take another hack. Three balls and a strike. Seidel into his windup and the pitch. That one bounced in the dirt. Gets by Levins, but he grabs it easily, and the runner goes down to first. Free ticket given down to first base for Jacob Wilson.
And it's back-to-back batters, who have each been able to get on to first base for Orleans. And while, yes, Honeyman was cut down, this could have very well been a runners on 1st and 2nd with nobody away. Not an ideal start to the inning here for Seidel.
Jacob Wilson will climb in. He's had a tough day to start. One of the few batters who's been pretty quiet for Orleans. He's popped out to the catcher Tatum Levins and also popped out to Jake Geloff. Both those were foul balls too, so you know he'd like to straighten that out. Find a home for it. 5 hits for the Firebirds, 4 for the Mariners. Furman on first. And the pitch. This one grounded up the middle. It goes off of Lavari and into center. The run around 2nd over to 3rd. That one will be an error on Lavari. A ball that looked like it was going to be a tailor-made double play, kicks off the foot into center field. And now Harwich in a really bad spot. Runners on the corners with one out for the cleanup hitter, Kevin Sim.
Yeah, Lavari, you have to remember, not traditionally a second baseman. Most of his reps, even here on the Cape, have been over at third, generally a third baseman at Old Dominion. And so reading that ball from an angle he's not exactly used to, skips underneath his glove, goes off his body, and caroms out into the outfield and allows an easy third base for Nate Furman. Things going from bad to worse for this inning for Harwich.
They check the swing on the first pitch. No, says the first base umpire. A ball and no strikes. Sim has grounded out to third and struck out looking here today. As that pitch just misses, Seidel wanted it. He won't get it. Tatum Levin's trying to provide some motivation for Seidel. 2-0. This one grounded over to shortstop. Goodwin fields. He goes on to second for one. On to first. The Mariners get out of the jam. A 6-4-3 double play. Lavari making the turn and picks himself up. Orleans is held scoreless here in the fifth. We head to the sixth. We'll be right back. Mariners looking to keep the offense rolling on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Into inning number 6, and what a ball game this has been thus far. Tatum Levins took out the trash and Travis Honeyman in the last inning, gunned him down at second. He gets a chance to lead off here, but not before we have a call to the bullpen. It'll be Cam Jones climbing in. He's gone 4 innings, allowed 5 hits with a 6.8 ERA early on here. From Georgia State, he's a 2-time first-team All-Sun Belt Conference section and one of the nation's top two-way players. He had 6 saves with a 4.34 ERA this season. He also batted .344 with 6 homers and 45 runs batted in his career. The count is 1-0 to the Mariner catcher. As the lefty bounces this one in the dirt, it's 2-0. Brock Wilkin, the batter on deck. Levins hit a bomb out to right field that we're going to say was robbed of a home run by Cunningham out in right. A ball that just went off the bat and kept carrying, and honestly could be the difference maker if Cunningham had a few inches less. As Levins fouls that one off.
Right over Route 28.
You love your streets, Tim. You know all the routes and the streets and the interstates and the...
You drive around as much as I do, you learn a thing or two.
Fair enough, fair enough. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Levins coming into today hitting 167. The pitch to him. That misses just low. Looked like it might catch the bottom of the zone, and then the string was pulled and the count is worked full.
Just to talk about that robbed home run as well, it's sort of similar to McCarty's actual home run.
Levins chops this one on, a couple hops over to second. It's going to be an easy play for Furman. On to Sim at first, and there's one away.
There's a ball that was hit lightly out toward right field. Didn't even look like it would clear the fence, but ultimately, and as we said, of course, Cunningham robbing him, but it would have cleared the fence. And then McCarty's home run, similarly, you really wouldn't have thought initially that that was going to carry as much as it did, but it ultimately did, and you know that's the difference here, McCarty's home run.
Brock Wilkin steps in. He has struck out both looking and swinging here today. Trying to put something in play. He watches strike one go in from Jones.
Makes you wonder if there's some sort of jet stream above right field.
I mean, yeah, everything is carrying. Granted, only 314, so probably not what we're used to seeing, but nonetheless, these balls look like routine outs, and they just continue to sail. So maybe there is some sort of force or jet stream, Tim. As the pitch to Wilkin misses inside, and it's going to be 2-1. Jones, the second player in Georgia State history to earn first-team All-Sun Belt honors more than once. As Wilkin gets under this one, and it's off to the left. And they can't make the play. Sorry, bit of a blind spot there for us behind the dugout and the fans and the pitching net, so yeah, didn't see it. But
we've got a great view of the third base dugout.
Yeah, we
at least behind it. Couldn't tell you who's in it. So we think it's Harwich.
Huge shout out to the crowd, because their groans and despair kind of keyed to us that, or alluded rather, that the ball had bounced and was not recorded as an out.
Yeah, we're calling this game entirely based off of body language.
Another 2-2 to Wilkin. He pops this one up. This could be the one that I'm going to catch today. But instead, it's going to be Lee. Held up just long enough to not get out right in front of our table here. I thought I was going to have a chance at it. My MacBook said otherwise. And it will be out number 2. Yeah. I thought I had a chance, Tim, no?
It was coming close. It was headed in our direction. And, I mean, the fence, or rather the netting goes up pretty high here, but at the same time, that ball was torched up into the air. And so, hard hit ball. Of course, Wilkin, a guy who's going to send it pretty far up into the air, but frustrating for him. Got pretty well underneath that one. Couldn't send it out into fair play. A couple of foul balls that at bat for him.
Joe Vetrano, the hitter. This ball bounced the first pitch to him. And I would be remiss if, as I sit here in my UMass quarter zip, I do not announce that Cale Makar has won the Norris Trophy as of a couple minutes ago. So congratulations to Cale, as Vetrano on cue breaks his slump. A line shot into left field. Stinson gets it in, but it's a 2-out single for Joe Vetrano, a much-needed one at that.
Yeah, no kidding. Vetrano, somebody who has been really working at it every single day in BP, trying to make something happen. That breaks a 4-game skid where he was hitless after opening the season on a 3-game hitting streak. So he's been a little streaky one way or the other here so far this season. Perhaps this is the start of something fresh for him.
Jake Geloff, the batter. He's 0 for 2 today. And he watches strike one go in there on the inside corner. Geloff also has not had a hit since his debut on June 17th when he went 1 for 4. Since then, he's been 0 for 3 twice and 0 for 1. But he lifts this one out to deep right field. Back at the track, the wall. Cunningham pulls it down. Geloff thought he had it, but it comes up just short. So close to making this a 2-run ball game, but it's just allowed out number 3. We'll head to the break. Home half of the 6th, Orleans now turn. We'll be right back on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back here, bottom of the 6th, Devin Dobeck, Tim Foley bring you the action. The day is over for Billy Seidel as he hands the baton to Jaden Woods. Second time we've seen him this season. His first outing did not disappoint, a game in which he went an inning and a third, threw 17 pitches and punched out 2 en route to his ball club high first save of the season.
Yeah, really impressive from him last time out,
as he bounces the first 2 pitches in the dirt for ball 2.
But we've been wondering why we haven't really been seeing him all that much recently. This is his first appearance. He's taken the past 5 games off, but the Mariners haven't really been finding themselves in a late game high leverage situation.
As this one lifted high and deep out to left field, back and making the grab is Ryan McCarty. Moves over just a little bit, and it's allowed out number 1 for the Firebirds and Luke Keischel.
Yeah, not ideal for Woods to have a loud piece of contact out toward left, very first at bat here, but even still, able to get it right to the defense, and he's trying to continue to settle in here.
Batter will be Bennett Lee, the catcher. He's singled and scored and also struck out looking here tonight. As we mentioned, Billy Seidel's day is over. He goes 5 innings, allows 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 of which were earned, walks a pair, and punches out a pair. So all things considered, where Seidel was headed, I mean, his night didn't finish off too well. He won't be getting a decision. But, yeah, not much that can be complained about after the second inning on. As this pitch fouled way back, and it's going to be a 2-1 count now.
Yeah, and I think Harwich has to be fortunate that this game's still tied right now. Things got a little hairy back in that 5th inning. A batter was hit by a pitch, and then had a walk, and then an error allowed somebody to get on. A couple of defensive plays made to help keep the inning quiet for Orleans at the plate by Harwich as the next pitch misses, and it's 3-1.
There's absolutely been a lot of what-ifs in this ball game. What if Tatum Levens and Jake Geloff just got a little more of those pitches? This one's lifted high and deep, out to left field. Watch this baby go over the fence. A solo shot for Bennett Lee, and a no-doubter at that. He takes Jaden Woods' yard for his first earned run allowed this season, and it's now a 4-3 ball game.
A really nice hit there by Lee, able to just pull that one over the fence out and left. Got it right over the plate. He was able to serve it out toward left field. Impressive hit, as that's the second home run here today for Orleans. And the ball's now just been flying out of the ballpark between both Harwich and their opponents these past few games. Harwich, across their first 3 home games, neither hit a home run nor conceded a home run. And now here today, they've allowed 2 while hitting one of their own, as the count here 1-1 to the batter and Jacob Stinson. And then yesterday, of course, you had a home run from Brock Wilkin, a home run from Nick Goodwin, and then a home run from Tito Flores as well for the Harbor Hawks. So that's now 6 home runs in the past 3 games combined.
Woods does not miss with this one. Count is 1-2. Stinson, the batter, he's lined out to second and grounded out to the shortstop in Goodwin. This one gets by Levens for a ball, and it's 2-2. Woods a long look in. Lined up, and the delivery. Chopped over to first, but foul. It was snared by Geloff, but no way to make a play on that when it's foul. And it'll be 2-2.
I mean, this has to really hurt for Harwich here. Second time they managed to come back and tie this game and then have the lead taken away, or the tie broken, rather, by Orleans, I should say.
Another one is chopped. Stinson wanted that one as he jumps in frustration. And we'll do the 2-2 one more time yet again. Another 2-2. Chops back to the backstop. A nice at-bat. Stinson is piecing together here.
We talk a lot about timely hitting and how important it's been for Harwich to try to maintain that, but timely defense has just not been there this game for Harwich. Again, second time that they've allowed the tie to be broken without jumping out ahead.
2-2. Breaking ball is over to Brock Wilkin at 30. Throws across his body on the run. A seed to Geloff at first base. That was a great play. One we might look back on by Brock Wilkin for the second out.
I've mentioned this before, but a very understated part of Brock Wilkin's game is his defense. He knows how to make a throw on the run like that. Impressive to see from the Valrico, Florida product. And so, 2 away.
First pitch to the batter, Jake Cunningham, is in there for a strike. Jake has really done a great job, both sides of the ball. He's singled and scored, as well as taken away a home run and an extra base hit off the bats of Levens and Geloff. And the pitch to him, he's down in the count now 1-2. Woods trying to get out of this with minimal damage. The pitch. Breaking ball is chopped right back to Woods. He can't make the play. It took a funny bounce with a lot of topspin. Nonetheless, it'll be a 2-out base runner for the Orleans Firebirds.
Yeah, frustration certainly there. We'll see what they ultimately rule at a hit or an error. But my thinking there is you got to get the body in front of it, almost if you're Woods. He tried to just play it off to the side of his body as it hopped by him, and ultimately allowed the runner to get out the first and allowed the inning to extend.
First pitch to the batter, and Nick McCleary is in there for a strike. Woods taking his time here. Cunningham, the runner, at first. And the next pitch misses for a ball. Some out-of-town scores. The Braves trail the YD Red Sox 7-4 at Red Wilson Field in the 8th. Harbor Hawks trail the Whitecaps in the top of the 9th 3-2. Cotuit leads Wareham 4-3 in the bottom of the 7th out in Wareham. And Falmouth on top of the Anglers 4-0 in the top of the 5th. As ground ball over to Goodwin, he flips on to Lavari at second for the easy out, and the side is retired. But a solo shot by Bennett Lee is where we stand, a 4-3 ball game. Harwich trying to respond here in the late innings. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Thank you.
Welcome back inside Eldridge Park here we're in Orleans, Massachusetts. Tim Foley and Devin Dobick along with you. Now the top of the 7th inning as Tommy Seidel lays down a bunt to try to get on base. Lays it foul, and the count here is 0-2 to Seidel. Seidel, what a day it's been for him, helping his brother out best he can. Or at least while Seidel was on the mound. Again, the day over for Billy Seidel. But Tommy Seidel stands in 2 for 2. He's come around to score both times. Singled in the 2nd, doubled in the 5th. It was a home run from Ryan McCarty, his first of the season, to help bring him around in the last time he was up to bat, back in the 5th inning. The 0-2 pitch misses up high. It's 1-2 now. Here's the pitch. That's going to be chopped off foul and out of play, and the count remains at 1-2 here to Tommy Seidel. So
Yep. Seidel with 2 runs on the day. He's got a single along with a double. Another 2-hit game for him. He's very happy to have that. So are the Mariners.
As Cam Woods, back out there for his 2nd inning of work, is out on the mound now. He'll deliver a pitch that misses, and the count now here is 2-2. Seidel steps out of the box for a moment and steps right back in once again. Here's the pitch. That one's going to miss high, had some cheese on it. And the count now runs full. Jones had a solid inning out his last inning. Was able to retire 3 out of 4. Joe Vetrano was able to get a hold of one for a single, but that was about it. This ball's going to be popped up, playable over at second base. Making the catch, Nate Furman underneath it, and is able to retire Tommy Seidel for the first time today, 1 away.
Yeah, just missed that one. I bet he'd like to have this pitch back. Hopefully the Mariners will be able to get on without him, although he's been a focal point in their offense. When he has gotten on, good things have happened. We'll see how they fare without him getting on for the first time today.
So in steps Kenny Lavari. Lavari, 1 for 2 on the day, has an RBI as he was able to drive in Tommy Seidel back in the 2nd inning. First pitch to him is in for a called strike, and the count opens at 0-1. Harwich starting to break out of their slump offensively, as this one's going to be trickled right down the third baseline. Foul ends up going just left of that third base bag by about a foot by the time it reaches the bag. So the count now 0-2 here to Lavari, but again, feels like the Mariners somewhat to some extent starting to try to break out of their slump. 5 hits here tonight through the first, now 6 1/3.
And that's as many as they had in the doubleheader yesterday. Just 1 in game 2, 4 in game 1.
And that's across 14 innings. Here's the pitch. That's going to be hit on a line on the ground. Now left side, that's going to get past the shortstop and Nick McCleary. It was hit hard his way, tough read as it was going right by him. And so safe on first is going to be Kenny Lavari. Now for the second time today, he has managed to get on base.
Yeah, he's really been a bright spot. I believe this should go as a hit. It would have been a long throw regardless for McCleary. If he had fielded, it would have been some Derek Jeter, prime time stuff.
This is the league to see that kind of stuff. Cape Cod Baseball League, one of the, in fact, is the premier collegiate summer baseball league, as it is ruled a hit, ultimately for Kenny Lavari. So his second of the day. Impressive for Lavari to be able to come through. And again, he's been on an on-base streak. He's managed to be getting on. And for Lavari, this is his first multi-hit game of the season, as a big swing and a miss from Ryan McCarty, who stands in. And the count here to him opens up at 0-1. Had that solo shot, one that we did not think was going to get over the fence out in right, but did.
It was a 2-run bomb, actually, to tie the game at 3.
Excuse me. That ball is going to be thrown back over to first base. A pickoff move to keep Lavari pinned to the bag, and he will stay there. So, yes, it was a 2-run shot. Pardon me. And that had tied the game briefly. Did they get him over at first? They did. Kenny Lavari caught out over at first base. A very nice pickoff move from the lefty and Cam Jones, and it's always the lefties you got to watch out for on the mound, and Cam Jones proving why just then.
Yeah, great move there. Lavari, you'd think he would have been ready for it after getting back safely twice, but third time's the charm. If you're Cam Jones, he's able to pick up after that hit into left field, and there's now 2 away with nobody on.
Count now here is 0-2 to Ryan McCarty. A 4-3 lead for the Orleans Firebirds. Took the lead back in the bottom of the 6th inning as Orleans tries to leapfrog Harwich in the standings. The 0-2 misses, and it's now 1-2. Standings right now, Orleans is in the 5 hole here in the division. 7 points. Mariners with 8 and in third. McCarty swings at a third pitch. Strike dropped. Throw down at the first base bag is on time, in target, and that ends the inning. So the Mariners got Kenny Lavari on to first base, but he got picked off, and the inning ends on a strikeout by Ryan McCarty. We head now to the bottom of the 7th inning. Orleans Firebirds back up when we return. In the meantime, don't go too far. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Travis Honeyman leads it off for the Orleans Firebirds as we're back to the top of the order for the 4th time here tonight. Honeyman, he's gotten on base all 3 plate appearances so far. 2 for 2, had a solo shot to open up the home half of the 1st inning, a single in the 2nd inning, and then was hit by a pitch by Billy Seidel back in the 5th inning. And now here he is, 4th time around, this time facing off against Jaden Woods, whose first pitch sails high above the zone out of the glove of Tatum Levin, skips back into the netting, and the count opens at 1-0.
Harwich Bat Boy won that battle as both our Harwich Mariner and Orleans Firebird sprinted out. That match goes to the Mariners.
Big swing and a miss from Honeyman, and the count evens out at 1-1. So Harwich trying to come back for the now 3rd time in this game alone. We're down 1-0, managed to tie the game. We're then down 3-1, managed to tie the game up, and now find themselves trailing 4-3. The 1-1's cut on and missed by Travis Honeyman, and he's behind now 1-2.
Woods would love to get this leadoff out, especially in one of their more prolific hitters.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. He got him. Down goes Honeyman for the first time today, and the Mariners are able to get that leadoff strikeout. Haven't been able to get a leadoff strikeout since the 3rd inning here tonight. Orleans otherwise has found some good success in the leadoff spot, and finally able to get the batter to go down. So, leadoff out. This will bring up Nate Furman. Furman so far here today, he is just 1 for 2, singled back in the 1st inning, then grounded out to first base and got on with a walk back in the 5th. He was stranded all the way at 3rd base in what was a very interesting 5th inning for the Mariners, in which the leadoff batter was hit by a pitch as the count opens at 1-0 here to Furman. Furman then got on with a walk, but Honeyman was caught stealing just before Furman could have gotten on with the walk, as Furman's going to get on base now for the 3rd time today. He gets hit by a pitch. That is yet another hit batter here for the Mariners. They have been plunking batters at an unbelievable clip this season, as Coach Englert's actually going to come out of the dugout here and have a conversation with McEvan, the home plate umpire, and try to see if maybe perhaps there wasn't anything that could have been done to avoid contact with that pitch. Englert trying to plead his case here, but we'll see. Looks as though nothing much will come of it, as up to bat now is going to be Jacob Wilson. Wilson so far on the day, he is 0 for 3. Popped out to Tatum Levins in foul territory his first at-bat. Jake Gilloff in foul territory in his 2nd at-bat, and then reached on an error back in the 5th inning. A continuation of what was a very interesting inning defensively for the Mariners that was capped off by a 6-4-3 double play. As it's an 0-1 count here to open it up. First pitch called, strike on the outside part of the plate to Jacob Wilson. Wilson, he'll dig back in. Woods, he'll stare back in. Now looks over at first base. Stares home and delivers. Runner goes. Hit and runs on. This ball's going to be pulled out to left, and that's going to be pulled down by the left fielder in Ryan McCarty. He did not make the catch, however. It was a liner that just skipped into his glove. A very close play. McCarty tried to gun down the runner and Nate Furman as he was headed for 3rd, but it was cut off by Nick Goodwin. And now the Firebirds with runners on the corners here.
Yeah, tough break. I'm not sure how close the play would have been if Goodwin had not cut it off. Looked like maybe they had a shot at him at 3rd base. 50-50 call, but you want to keep that runner at 1st from advancing to 2nd, and nonetheless, runners at the corners now.
As the first pitch is going to be in for a called strike to Kevin Sim, and based on what we could see from our perspective, it looked like Ryan McCarty thought that perhaps that ball had a chance. As there's another called strike here to Kevin Sim. That ball was thrown on a pretty nice line over toward 3rd, but Goodwin did cut it off, and McCarty thereafter looked a bit frustrated as that ball was cut off.
Ball and 2 strikes to Sim. He was in this situation with 1 out and runners on the corners last time out, and he'd grounded to double play.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Down goes Sim. 2nd strikeout of the inning for Jaden Woods as he tries to stay settled here. Retires the batter after allowing the previous 2 to get on. There are still runners on the corners here. Nate Furman's on 3rd. Jacob Wilson's over on 1st. And now it's one of the returners here for the Firebirds in Luke Kiesel. up to bat. The designated hitter here tonight, Keishel, 0 for 3. Flew out to center, grounded out to first, and flew out to left in each of his 3 at-bats. He'll take the first pitch out of the ballpark, foul, and the count opens at 0-1.
Yeah, beautiful night here at Eldridge Park. Sinking into the mid to low 60s here after that sun was in our face all day.
Ball's going to be chopped foul once again, and so the count moves to 0-2. It gets chilly here at Eldridge Park once the sun goes down, more so than any other ballpark, in my opinion, in the league. I mean, Bourne, also a competitor in that category, right on the canal, as the 1-2's chopped off foul, or rather 0-2 foul, and so we will do it once again. White House Field, pretty inland, all things considered, when you only have so much land to go around on Cape Cod. 0-2 count still here to the batter in Keishel. He'll pull this one over to the shortstop in Goodwin. Big cross diamond throw, well offline. Jake Geloff has to hustle off the bag in order to cut it off. And a run comes across for the Orleans Firebirds. Nate Furman is in from third base. All the way up to second now is Jacob Wilson. And it could have meant more for Luke Keishel and Orleans had that throw from Goodwin completely gotten away from Jake Geloff. Heads up play for Geloff to abandon any hope of trying to make the catch at the bag and coming off to cut that ball off, because it could have meant more for Orleans.
Yeah, just a tough play for Goodwin, similar to what we saw in the last inning by the shortstop in McCleary. He would have had to made a really great throw, very similar to what Goodwin just tried to do. We saw how much a miss by, a matter of 5 feet or so.
Here's the pitch, going to be fouled off by Bennett Lee as the hit and run was on. Both runners were going on the double steal. Jacob Wilson was heading down to third base. Luke Keishel was all the way over towards second, but it was sliced straight back foul by Bennett Lee, who's come around to score twice so far here today. Singled and came all the way around to the second, and then a solo shot back in the sixth. Ball hit on the ground over to Goodwin, throw on to first in time, on target, and the inning ends. A run does come across for the Firebirds. It's now a 5-3 ball game here from Eldridge Park. We'll be back with more Harwich Mariners baseball on the other side of the break. In the meantime, don't go too far. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. We welcome you back into Eldridge Park. Tim Foley and Devin Dobick along with you. The bottom of the 7th inning. The 7, 8, 9 batters due up. Jacob Stinson, Jake Cunningham, and Nick McCleary. Or pardon me, the Harwich Mariners due up to bat here in the top of the 8th inning. As I get situated here, Cole Harding, Nick Goodwin, and Tatum Levins will all come up to bat in this inning. The Mariners down by 2 right now, trying to get things going here. There's a new pitcher on the mound for Orleans. It's Bryce Warriker. Warriker out of Cal Poly, and also out of Santa Barbara, California. Injured for part of this last season. Pitched 26 1/3 innings for Cal Poly and struck out 30 while only walking 5. And so now here he is on the Cape. It's an 0-2 count to the batter in Cole Harding. Warriker quickly has gotten himself ahead here. Here's the pitch. That's going to miss outside. Harding takes all the way, and the count now 1-2.
Yeah, Warriker is 6'8", 240. He is a big guy. I mean, on the mound, he looks like a giant.
Here's the pitch. That's going to miss inside, and the count now 2-2. Harding, he's had a nice couple of games recently, trying to get on base again here today. Ball going to be chopped on the ground, foul. That'll head off toward the Mariners' dugout and out of play. We'll do it again.
Yeah, he's grounded out to third and flied out to center. Although that fly out to center, he caught pretty well.
Is on an on-base streak of 2 games, Harding. Here's the pitch to him. In there, called strike 3, down he goes. Cole Harding will have to head back to the dugout. That's the 3rd time today he's been retired. First by strikeout.
Yeah, froze him. He seemed shocked after that happened, but that's just how the game works. Warriker not gonna miss too many spots. I mean, his control's been phenomenal.
As Nick Goodwin steps in now, Goodwin on the day. Also trying to extend an on-base streak. 0 for 3 so far. He's reached in every single game this season. And here in the 8th inning, should he fail to get on here, looking like that streak could come to a close. As the count is even out here, 1-1. Took a first pitch ball, but then a second pitch strike. Warriker has been working here. 1 strikeout in his 1 batter faced, as Nick Goodwin's going to tattoo this one out to center field. Underneath it is Honeyman, and there's now 2 away here. Nick Goodwin again tired in all 4 of his at-bats here today. We'll see if he's able to get a 3rd go at it come the top of the 9th.
Tatum Levins, the last life here in the 8th. Let's see if he can get something going. He did have that 1 good at-bat back in the 4th inning. Or excuse me, the 3rd, in which he flied out to right and arguably would have got out of the yard, but game of inches.
Here's the first pitch to Levins. That'll be popped up, foul, could be playable. Over to make the catch. And the inning ends. Jacob Wilson from 3rd comes over to make the catch. And so the Orleans Firebirds are able to retire the Mariners 1-2-3 in the top of the 8th inning. To the bottom of the 8th inning we go. We'll be back with more Harwich Mariners baseball in a minute. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Jacob Stinson leads it off in the home half of the 8th inning, 0 for 3 on the day. He is one of just 2 Firebirds who has failed to get on base. Kevin Sim, who preceded him back in the 7th inning, 0 for 4. There's a new arm on the mound for the Mariners, and before the first pitch is even thrown, Tatum Levens is going to have to come out and have a word with Blake Purnell, who's making his Cape Cod Baseball League debut here tonight. Activated earlier today as Herman Fajardo was released, and so now here he comes. The incoming junior out of the University of Florida. This past season over at Florida. A 3-3 record, ERA of 2.86, appeared in 36 games. Threw a total of 50 1/3 innings and struck out 39 to just 15 walks. First pitch to the batter in Jacob Stinson, misses for a ball, and it's 1-0.
Yeah, and Purnell featuring that submarine-style delivery, maybe just a bit above.
This ball's going to be hit back up the middle. That's going to get through. A leadoff single for Jacob Stinson as Orleans continues to have success from the leadoff spot here tonight. That's now the 4th time that the leadoff batter has gotten on for Orleans. It's the 3rd hit.
Yeah, they've really had their struggles with getting that first out, and that's a lot why the score is the way it is now. 5-3 Orleans. Just 3 more outs for Harwich to try and squeeze out a point or 2. But more on Purnell. He made 36 appearances, all in relief for Florida this season. Had 4 saves and pitched 50 1/3 innings in which he punched out 39 while walking just 15.
Ball's going to be hit back up the middle. And that's going to be picked up by Cole Harding. And so, 2 leadoff singles here for the Orleans Firebirds, and they are in business, already holding on to a 2-run lead. And they are looking for more here as this bottom third of the lineup is really producing for them here in this inning. Nick McCleary now comes up to bat, got on with a walk back in the 2nd inning, ended up getting stranded over at 3rd base, and then grounded over to the left side of the infield in each of his 2 subsequent at-bats. And so now here he is, in for the 4th time today, trying to get on base, trying to move his teammates around the base paths. Here's the pitch, shows bunt. Tatum Levens thought about whipping it down over to first base, but he does not do so. It's held on to by the catcher out of Pitt. And the count opens at 1-0 here to McCleary.
11 hits for the Firebirds here tonight. As we've mentioned several times, their offense has really not disappointed.
Here's the pitch from Purnell. Bunt laid down. That's going to be playable. Purnell throws on to first, and there's going to be 1 out, but that does its job. Jacob Stinson advances down to 3rd. Jake Cunningham all the way up now to 2nd base. And so, Orleans, again, they were operating just as they would like to here. We were able to get the first 2 on and then playing some small ball to advance them around as we're back to the top of the order for the 5th time tonight.
Yeah, and again, a very hot hitter. You absolutely understand why McCleary dropped that bunt down. And they're just going to put him on, not even mess with him. Honeyman takes a free pass down to first base.
Believe that to be the first intentional walk that we've seen this season. Has not come up yet, but they will put Honeyman on, so that's the 4th time today he's been able to get on base. As this will bring up Nate Furman, another guy who in his own right has been getting on base today. And sometimes as a batter, you see that where they'll walk a guy ahead of you intentionally, and it'll light a bit of a fire underneath you.
And hopefully for Harwich, they can get a ground ball here. I mean, Furman, a very runner-up to someone who you'd want to put on, but nowhere to put him now.
This has not been that long of an inning when you think about how long we've been out here. It's a 1-0 count as Purnell stares in and delivers. This ball's going to be chopped foul, and the count's going to move to 1-1 now. It's just been, I believe, about 6 or 7 pitches thrown by Blake Purnell. But we're already on our 5th batter of the inning. 2 leadoff singles pretty quickly into their at-bats, and then a quick ground out from McCleary. And then Honeyman just intentionally walked, and now here we are with Furman. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's going to catch the outside part of the strike zone, and the count moves to 1-2 here on Furman.
Purnell's got to dig deep here. Really needs to come up with a big strikeout with the bases loaded if his team wants to have a fighting chance in the ninth.
He's gotten himself into this jam here in his Cape Cod Baseball League debut. Again, just activated today. Here's the pitch. That's going to skip in the dirt. A very nice block from Tatum Levens. Very important block. That gets by. That's easily a run for Orleans. They've been capitalizing on a lot of little mistakes by Harwich here today. And the count now even at 2-2. Purnell stares in, waiting patiently, Nate Furman. Here's the pitch. That'll be pushed foul. Furman, the righty, sent it over down the third base line, out of play. Count still 2-2.
What a battle we have going on between Furman and Purnell. Wilson on deck. Purnell does not want to waste any time against this guy. Even if he puts it in play, you got to throw strikes here.
Purnell leans in and delivers. Chopped foul. And Furman continues to fight here at the plate. Makes it tough for Purnell to try to get this second out of the inning. Bases juiced. Stinson over on third. Cunningham on second. Honeyman over at first base. As home plate umpire dusted off home plate very briefly. Purnell now back into his set and delivers. Strike 3 swinging. Able to get the batter in Nate Furman to go around. That's the first Cape Cod Baseball League strikeout for Blake Purnell.
Yeah, and a huge one at that. That ball is actually tipped, so credit to Tatum Levens hanging on to it. A huge second out. The base is still loaded, but all you got to worry about is the out. Jacob Wilson, though, a guy who singled in his last at-bat. Third hitter for the Firebirds, someone who loves to be in this spot. We'll see what he can do with it.
And so, it is Wilson, who's gotten on twice today. Reached on an error back in the 5th inning and then had a single back in the 7th inning, that last inning for Orleans. They've had some consistent offense all throughout this game. A run in the first, 2 in the second. Able to score again in the 6th and then in the 7th inning, and now again threatening here in the 8th. It was a quiet 4th inning, but a very busy 5th that ultimately amounted to nothing. Orleans through and through, they've been playing a very nice game here today at the plate. Ball's going to skip in the dirt. Tatum Levens, luckily enough for him, nowhere for anyone to go on the base paths, so he will hold on behind home plate as it skipped in front of him. No shot that Jacob Stinson was going to be able to find daylight past Levens at home. Had he dared attempt to come home. So it's a 1-1 count here to the batter and Jacob Wilson. Purnell comes set, leans in and delivers. That's going to miss outside for a ball. The count now 2-1. On deck for Orleans, should he see the plate in this half inning, it's going to be Kevin Sim. These could be the last hacks for Orleans at the plate if Harwich is unable to come back come the top of the 9th in just a minute. Here's the pitch. That's going to miss inside. Tatum Levens trying to do his best frame job. Grabbed it just inside the plate. Whipped it back out in front. And the count now 3-1 here. A hitter's count to Jacob Wilson looking for his second knock of the day. Chokes up on the bat a little bit. And here's the pitch. Tips it back. Count runs full 3-2.
All right, biggest pitch of the ball game. Here it is, Blake Purnell in your debut. You got to find a way to get this batter out, even if it means them putting it in play. Got to trust your defense and allow them to make a play here. Don't want to walk them no matter what you do.
A walk brings in a run. Would be Stinson. Purnell stares in. Here's the 3-2. And that's going to miss. Ball 4. Runners were in motion. And they will all take a base. Stinson comes home. Cunningham up to third. Honeyman up to second base, and now Jacob Wilson on for the third time today. Kevin Sim will step in. He is the lone Firebird who is yet to reach here today.
And he thought after that big second out punch out that Purnell might have a shot, but gets out of it.
And they're going to call that a foul ball. A little chopper right at home plate out of the bat of Sim. And so, count opens at 0-1.
I think it did get a piece of the batter in Sim. So, right call there, although Harwich wanted to fire that thing over to first for the out.
Woods stares in, comes set. Once again, bases still loaded here for Orleans. The 0-1 pitch finds a way in for a called strike, and the count moves to 0-2. Purnell, he's already struck out one here in this inning, but 4 out of the 6 batters who have come up to bat have gotten on. There's been 2 hits in this inning. 1 walk, 1 intentional walk as well. The 0-2 pitch misses down low, and the count now 1-2. And you wonder just how much Purnell's really been able to work with the coaching staff up here in Harwich. Only got in back this past Saturday, it being now Tuesday. It's been a couple of days of opportunity. Here's the pitch. Did he get him? No. That just missed inside. As the count now 2-2 with 2 away. Bottom of the 8th inning. Orleans looking for a few more. It's 6-3 Firebirds. Purnell comes set on the mound and delivers. That's going to miss inside, and the count now has run full. Purnell was ahead early, but some good takes from Kevin Sim has gotten him right back in this at-bat. And last full count was the biggest pitch of the ball game, and I would say this one now usurps it. Here's the 3-2. Hit on the ground, right back to Purnell. He'll stab at it on the ground, jogs over to first, flips it over to Geloff, and the inning ends. One more does come across for Orleans. They've now scored in 5 out of their 8 innings at the plate. They've been consistent. We head now to the top of the 9th inning. Mariners down to their final 3. They're going to need 3 when we return. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. To the top of the ninth we go. Chris Clark is the new arm on the mound for the Orleans Firebirds. He's going to be tasked with trying to record the save here against the Mariners. Harwich down by 3 right now. We've seen them put up runs at times this season, but with the way that the runs have been few and far between as of late, it's going to take something a bit out of the ordinary for Harwich to be able to come back in this one. We will see. As again, it is Clark who is in. So far, his stats on the young season look as such. This is his 4th appearance. He's got an 0-1 record, ERA hovering right about 6.75. He already does have 1 save on the season across his 2 2/3 innings pitched. He's struck out 3 to 1 walk, and his first pitch into Brock Wilken is in for a called strike. Wilken, so far on the evening, he is 0 for 3, riding a 3-game hit streak, but that is in jeopardy at the moment as he's in need of a hit here should he want to keep that alive. This ball is going to be fouled off and out of play into the night, and the count now is at 0-2 to Wilken. Orleans has done a nice job passing the baton on the mound. This is the 5th pitcher they have used, and they've only allowed 3 runs to this point in the ball game. Here's the pitch. That's going to be in for a called strike 3. Brock Wilken cannot believe it. Back to the dugout he goes, his 3rd strikeout of the day.
Yeah, and a tough take there. It looked like it just went off the plate, but the umpire thought it caught a piece on the way. A great breaking ball we saw from Clark there. And it'll be out number 1 now. Mariners down to just their last 2 lives, rather.
As Joe Vitrano steps in now. Vitrano 1 for 3 on the night. Broke out of a 4-game hitting slump with a single back in the 6th inning. He'll take a first pitch that misses inside, and the count opens out 1-0. Jake Geloff is on deck here for the Mariners. We will at the very least see him as the next pitch is in. Vitrano cracks it on the ground. 2 hops into the glove of Kevin Sim at first. Flips it on to Clark covering, and there's 2 down.
Yeah, got jammed there, just rolled it right over to first base. Very routine play there. Nice job on the cover by Clark. Baseball 101, and now 2 outs.
And
see the bat boy getting a little rosin on the hands there. That was pretty good.
And so Harwich down to their final out. Been a struggle all day at the plate as Geloff will pop this one up. Headed foul, that's out of play. No chance for Sim to be able to reel that one in. And the count opens at 0-1. On the day, 6 hits. Hasn't all been bad, but just has not been able to lock things down defensively. And Harwich really has not scored all too many runs as of late. 3 in now their past 3 here as the 0-1 comes in. That's in for a called strike. Last time the Mariners scored more than 3 runs in a game, well, you'd have to go actually pretty far back to the home opener in which they scored 4 against Falmouth. It's been a long time since the Mariners have scored more than 3 runs. As the 0-2 pitch comes in, that's going to skip in the dirt, and so it's a 1-2 count now here. Harwich here tonight has struggled in the leadoff spot as well. That's been part of their woes. Just 1 for 9 on the evening. And that's with 4 strikeouts. As it's a 1-2 count here to Jake Geloff. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that's the ball game. The Orleans Firebirds take down the Harwich Mariners by a final of 6-3. Harwich, they have fallen for the 2nd game in a row, 2nd time this season where they have lost back-to-back games. We'll take a break. We'll step aside. We will crunch the numbers and come back to break this one down on the other side of the break. In the meantime, don't go too far. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Welcome back inside Eldridge Park, the Harwich Mariners post-game show. They fall to the Orleans Firebirds by a final of 6-3 here tonight. And the Mariners, again, have not scored more than 3 runs in the ballgame since their home opener back a week ago today against the Falmouth Commodores, in which they won 4-1. It's been tough going at the plate, Devin, and it felt like that continued here tonight, despite 6 hits, which is more than they've gotten in a little bit.
Yeah, and, you know, it was just another one of those games. It's going to be the first time that Harwich has actually been below 500 this season, now 4-5. So kind of adding to the pain there. They've lost 4 of their last 5, so that's been difficult. But Tommy Seidel, he had a good 2-hit game. Ryan McCarty, he had a home run, a 2-run bomb. So there are some positives to take away from this ball game. And Kenny Lavari had an extra base hit. So they just got to take this momentum. But they're going to be tested tomorrow against a very good Wareham team.
The pitchers here tonight, winning pitcher is going to be Cam Jones. Came in the 6th inning as the Firebirds were then able to take the lead for good in the bottom of the 6th inning. He pitched 2 complete, allowed just 2 hits, and struck out 1 batter. The save goes to Chris Clark, who came in, did a nice job, picked up his 2nd save of the season. Pitched 1 complete, struck out 2 batters. Meanwhile, the loss does go to Jaden Woods, who gave up in that 6th inning the home run that would ultimately put Orleans ahead for good. So that'll do it. As mentioned, the Mariners back in action tomorrow night against the Wareham Gatemen. That is set to be a 6:30 first pitch against the Gatemen of Wareham. That'll be the first of 4 matchups and the first of 3 across the next 5 games for the Mariners. A doubleheader coming up at Wareham. That'll be this Sunday, but a couple more games between tomorrow and then for sure. So the final score for the final time, the Orleans Firebirds 6, the Harwich Mariners 3. For my broadcast partner, Devin Dobick, I'm Tim Foley saying thanks so much for listening here tonight